We are living through the single greatest capital investment wave in human history. Hundreds of billions of dollars cascading into a technological vortex, all centered on one promise: artificial intelligence. It's a gold rush in the digital clouds, a frantic scramble to build, to automate, to ascend. And yet, in the boardrooms, in the cubicles, in the home offices, there is a profound and silent anxiety. A staggering 95% of generative AI pilots in the workplace are failing. Only 1% of CEOs have a fully formed AI strategy. And perhaps most telling, as one analysis from the Charter Workplace Summit noted, we don't actually know what the ideal worker's skills will be in 3 years or 5 years. This is the great unknowing. We have spent hundreds of billions of dollars on a future we cannot define. And this uncertainty forces every single one of us, from the intern to the CEO, to confront the single biggest career dilemma of our generation. It is a question as old as work itself, now supercharged with existential urgency. To survive what's coming, should you go deep or should you go broad? Should you become a specialist, the master of a single complex craft? Or should you become a generalist, the master of none, but the connector of all? This is the new terrifying paradox. Artificial intelligence is, at this very moment, becoming the ultimate specialist. It can write code, analyze medical scans, and design circuits with superhuman speed. Simultaneously, it is becoming the ultimate generalist. A large language model can draft a marketing plan, discuss Aristotelian ethics, write a legal brief, and summarize a financial report, all before you finished your morning coffee. When the machine can be both, where does that leave the human? This is not a simple choice. 90% of us are likely choosing wrong, clinging to old advice in a world that has already changed. Today, we will dissect this dilemma. We will explore the bull case and the terrifying bear case for both paths. We will dismantle the false choice, and we will architect a new playbook for survival. This is not a question of if your job will change. It is a question of who you must become.
The first path is the path of depth, the path of the craftsman, the specialist. The argument is simple. In a world awash with shallow AI-generated noise, true mastery of a single domain will become more valuable, not less. The argument is simple. An AI needs a master. An AI is an engine, a phenomenally powerful one, but an engine needs a driver. More than that, it needs a seasoned navigator who knows the destination, understands the terrain, and can interpret the map. Anyone can ask an AI to write code for a weather app. A novice will get a generic, clunky, inefficient result. They won't know why it's bad. They won't know how to fix it. A specialist, a senior software architect, will ask the right questions. They will specify the architecture, the libraries, the performance requirements, the edge cases. But prompting is only half the battle. The real value of the specialist is in judging the output. The specialist looks at the AI's code and knows. They know it's 95% correct, but they also see the 5% flaw, the subtle logic error, the potential memory leak, the security vulnerability that the AI, a statistical model, missed. The specialist's value is not in writing the 1,000 lines of code. It's in the judgment to fix the 3 critical lines that prevent a system-wide crash. As the Google representative in the FT's report noted, journalists make excellent prompters. Why? Because they are specialists in the art of the question. They are specialists in skepticism. They are specialists in sniffing out the truth. That is domain expertise. The second argument for the specialist is innovation only happens at the frontier. An AI, by its very nature, is a reflection of the past. It is trained on the entirety of human-generated text and data that already exists. It is an engine of supreme imitation, a brilliant synthesizer of what is. It cannot, however, create what is not. AI cannot form a new scientific hypothesis from scratch. It cannot feel a human emotion and translate it into a new art form. It cannot have an intuitive leap, a eureka moment in the shower that reframes a problem no one else has solved. Consider a specialist like a biomedical researcher. She is a world expert in a specific protein pathway related to Parkinson's disease. She doesn't use AI to find a cure for Parkinson's disease. She uses it as a tireless, infinitely fast research assistant. She commands an AI to cross-reference every published paper on her protein with every known chemical compound, a task that would take a human team a decade. The AI returns a list of 100 promising candidates. The AI's job is done. The specialist's real work now begins. She must use her 2 decades of specialized experience to look at that list and see what the AI cannot. She sees that candidates 1 to 50 are statistical flukes. Candidates 51 to 90 are derivatives of failed drugs. But Candidate 91 has a unique molecular structure that triggers an intuitive connection in her specialized mind. It relates to a different, obscure pathway she studied years ago. That connection, that leap, is not in the data. It is in her. The AI didn't find the breakthrough. It just cleared the jungle so the specialist could see the path forward. The final and most pragmatic argument for the specialist is the last-mile problem. In any high-stakes field, AI can get you 90% of the way there. But that final 10%, the last mile, is where all the value and all the risk lies. An AI can draft a 100-page merger agreement, but it cannot sit across from the opposing counsel, look them in the eye, and negotiate the billion-dollar indemnity clause. That requires a specialist's understanding of leverage, psychology, and unwritten rules. An AI can analyze satellite data and troop movements, but it cannot advise a president on the nuanced diplomatic call that prevents a war. That requires a specialist's grasp of history, culture, and human ego. In this world, the specialist is not just a master of their craft. They are the human underwriter of risk. They are the final checkpoint. They are the ones who are paid not for the 90% of the work the AI can do, but for their mastery of the 10% it cannot.
Professional, confident, and clear. The tone should be that of a tech strategist explaining a complex concept to an intelligent audience. Speak at a steady, engaging pace, emphasizing key technical terms like multi-method, workflow, and decision agent. The path of the specialist feels safe. It feels like the path of value, but a new cold logic is emerging. What if your specialty is not a craft, but just a collection of complex, repeatable tasks? This is the bear case for the specialist, and it is terrifying. The great threat is simple. Narrow AI is designed to do one thing perfectly. For decades, the social contract was go to school, learn a difficult skill, and you will be rewarded. Learn law, learn accounting, learn coding, learn graphic design. But narrow AI is being relentlessly optimized to devour precisely these domains. A legal AI can now perform discovery and cite case law more accurately and thousands of times faster than a team of human paralegals. An accounting AI can audit a company's general ledger in minutes, not weeks, flagging anomalies a human would miss. A coding AI, like GitHub Copilot, can write 40 to 60% of a developer's code, and it is learning fast. The first to fall are not the low-skilled, but the narrow-skilled. The risk is that your years of specialization have not made you a master craftsman, but merely a highly trained cog in a machine that is about to be replaced. This leads to the great fear, the obsolescence risk. History is a graveyard of obsolete specialists. The master blacksmith, who spent a lifetime learning to shoe a horse, became irrelevant not because someone built a better horseshoe, but because the car was invented. AI is that car. It is an invention that doesn't just improve a task, it obliterates the entire category of tasks. If your specialty is translating legal documents, an LLM is now your existential competitor. If your specialty is creating marketing banners, so is DALL-E. If your specialty is writing routine software updates, so is Copilot. Your depth of knowledge in a single narrow silo is not a fortress, it is a target. This is the hyper-specialization trap. As the user's sample script warned, the market is shifting every 6 months. In this environment, what if you spend a decade becoming the world's foremost expert in version 3.4 of the React framework, or a specific type of laser eye surgery? And then, in a single keynote, a new AI model or a new technology makes that entire field redundant. The deeper you dig your well, the more specialized you become, the more you risk being buried alive when the ground shifts. You have become the world's most knowledgeable expert on a world that no longer exists.
Authoritative, deeply analytical, and reflective. The tone is that of a seasoned strategist or historian, guiding the audience through a complex, high-stakes dilemma. It should feel less like a typical YouTube video and more like a feature-length documentary. Grave, insightful, and ultimately cautiously optimistic for those who adapt. If the specialist's path is a deep, narrow well, the generalist's path is a wide, flowing river. The generalist, by definition, is a master of none. For generations, this was a criticism. In the age of AI, it may be the ultimate survival strategy. The first argument. In a world of fragmented tools, the true value is in connecting the dots. Our new world is not one big AI. It is 1,000 small, specialized AIs. There is an AI for your email, an AI for your code, an AI for your images, an AI for your finances. Each of these tools is a powerful specialist, but they are blind. They live in their own silos. They cannot talk to each other. They have no context. This is where the generalist thrives. The generalist is the systems thinker. As the sample script noted, the ideal worker might be someone who is a generalist, who kind of knows a little bit about the business and how business operates. This person, the product manager, the team leader, the strategist, is the only one who can see the whole picture. She is the one who can ask, how do we use our new marketing AI to inform the data our legal AI is checking? She is the one who can translate the engineer's technical jargon into a compelling sales pitch for the marketing team. The AI tools are the dots. The generalist is the one who connects them to create a picture that has value. The second argument, the human interface. We are still, and will be for a very long time, a world of humans. We are driven by emotion, ego, fear, ambition, and a need for connection. A generalist's skills are often mislabeled as soft skills. They are anything but. They are the most complex skills of all: communication, empathy, negotiation, leadership. An AI cannot sense the growing frustration in a meeting and skillfully de-escalate it. An AI cannot inspire a burned-out team to rally behind a new, difficult vision. An AI cannot sit with a client, listen to their unstated fears, and build a relationship of human trust. As work becomes more about integrating complex AI tools, the friction will no longer be technical, it will be human. The generalist is the essential lubricant for this new machine. They are the human interface, the diplomat, the leader. The third and most critical argument: adaptability is the new armor. The sample script was blunt. Every 6 months, a new model is dropping. The ground is permanently unstable. The specialist is optimized for a stable world. The generalist is optimized for chaos. A generalist's primary skill is not any one thing. Their primary skill is learning how to learn. They have a high learning agility. They are not afraid to be a beginner. When a new technology appears, they are the first to dive in, not with the goal of mastering it, but with the goal of understanding it, how it works, and how it connects to everything else. They are the organization's stem cells, able to adapt and differentiate into whatever the company needs next. Consider Marcus. He's launching a new AI-powered feature for his company. Marcus cannot code. He is not a data scientist. He is not a lawyer. He is a generalist. His week looks like this. On Monday, he's in a deep technical review with his specialist engineers, using his 10% knowledge of AI to ask the right questions about the model's limitations. On Tuesday, he's with the legal team, using his 10% knowledge of privacy law to debate the data handling risks. On Wednesday, he's with the marketing team, translating the complex tech into a simple, powerful customer benefit. On Friday, he's presenting the entire connected plan to the CEO, justifying the budget and the timeline. If Marcus were only a specialist engineer, he would build a tool no one could sell. If he were only a specialist marketer, he would promise a feature the engineers couldn't build. His value is his breadth. He is the human glue holding the entire complex AI-driven project together.
But the generalist's path has a new, formidable predator. What happens when the machine becomes the ultimate generalist? This is the bear case, and it is just as terrifying as the specialists. The great threat, generative AI, is a jack-of-all-trades that is mastering them all. For years, the generalists survived on intellectual arbitrage. They were valuable because they could just about do a lot of different white-collar tasks. They could write a decent email, they could draft a basic proposal, they could summarize a long document. They could brainstorm 10 marketing ideas. Now, ChatGPT, Claude, and their descendants can do all of this better, faster, and at near zero marginal cost. Why would a company pay a human a 6-figure salary to be a good communicator when the AI is an excellent communicator, available 24/7? This exposes the generalist's deepest fear, the shallow value problem. The old saying was jack of all trades, master of none. The AI age adds a brutal punchline, and therefore master of nothing valuable. When a company faces a crisis, when the code actually breaks, when the lawsuit actually lands, when the supply chain actually stops, who do they turn to? They don't turn to the generalist who connects the dots. They turn to the specialist who can fix the dot. In a recession, when cuts are made, the specialist who builds the product is essential. The generalist who facilitates communication about the product can look dangerously like expensive overhead. They lack the hard value, the undeniable craft. They are a nice-to-have in a world that is increasingly must-have. They are, in short, replaceable. So we are trapped. The specialist risks being automated by a narrow AI that does their one thing better. The generalist risks being automated by a generative AI that does their many things good enough. This is the great dilemma, and the only way to win is to refuse to play. The specialist versus generalist debate is a false choice. It is a 20th century model for a 21st century problem. Clinging to either pure path is a recipe for obsolescence. The survivors, the leaders, the builders, the invaluable humans of the next economy will be a hybrid. The solution is to become a T-shaped professional. This is not a new concept, but AI has turned it from a piece of career advice into an urgent survival manual. The vertical bar I represents your specialist core. This is your hard skill, your mastery. It is the deep, undeniable expertise in one domain. This is your anchor. It is why you are hired. It could be software architecture, corporate law, brand strategy, or surgical medicine. You must have one. The horizontal bar dash represents your generalist breadth. This is your ability to connect your specialty to the wider world. It is your knowledge of how the business operates. It is your ability to communicate with the legal team, understand the marketing plan, and empathize with the customer. This is how you create value. Now, here is how AI changes the game. AI becomes the super steroid for both parts of your T. You use AI to supercharge your vertical specialty. The specialist lawyer uses AI to find precedents in seconds, allowing her to spend her time on crafting the winning argument. The specialist coder uses AI to write the boilerplate, allowing him to focus on the core, unproven architecture. AI makes your eye deeper, faster, and stronger. Simultaneously, you use AI to supercharge your horizontal breadth. That same specialist lawyer can now use an LLM to get to 10% knowledge on a new topic, fast. Explain the basics of this client's supply chain, she'll ask. That same specialist coder can now use an LLM to draft a good enough marketing email or understand a sales report. AI makes your dash wider, more informed, and more effective. This reveals the real meta skill of the future. The most important skill is no longer just prompting. The new meta skill is judgment. It's the strategic judgment to know which AI tool to use for which problem. It's the critical judgment to know when to trust the AI's output and when to override it with your specialist intuition. It's the systems thinking judgment to know how to connect that output to the larger goals of the business. AI is the tool. Your T-shaped human judgment is the strategic advantage. We began with the great unknowing, a world spending billions on a future it cannot define. The specialist versus generalist dilemma was a trap. The pure specialist risks becoming a cog. The pure generalist risks becoming irrelevant. The path forward is not one or the other. It is the synthesis of both. The future belongs to the T-shaped. The future belongs to those who build an unshakable, deep-rooted eye of expertise, and then cultivate a curious, wide-ranging dash of generalist knowledge. The future belongs to the lifelong learners who use AI not as a crutch, but as a lever, a tool to amplify their depth and their breadth. In the end, the great battle of the AI age is not specialist versus generalist. It is, and always has been, the adaptable versus the obsolete. Choose who you will become.